you sometimes find that at the end of a day at work, you've achieved very little and the day was not as productive as you had wished? We've all been there. But whilst there's no one-size-fits-all approach to boosting productivity at work, with some self-discipline and the right tools at your disposal, you can easily become more efficient and ultimately more effective in your role. Here are 3 things that you can implement immediately if you're serious about being more productive at work. 1. Minimize distraction. Just as they say that procrastination is a thief of time, its elder brother is distraction. It is imperative that you minimize distraction if you want to enhance your productivity at work. Neuroscientists actually believe that when your concentration is interrupted, it takes significant amount of time for you to return to deep thought. There's also another study by a Harvard professor that claims that open floor space office layout is counterproductive. Although we all know that this sort of layout fosters teamwork and collaboration. And frankly, most companies do not have the luxury of separate office spaces for everyone. So you need to make a conscious effort to minimize distraction. You can do the following things. Turn off your phone. Put it on mute or set it aside for a few hours. Avoid going on social media. Now, I know some people don't want me to go here, but this is one of the biggest distractions I've observed in staff over the last decade. Ingeniously, some workplaces have cleverly restricted internet access to certain social media sites or even on work gadgets. You can also use noise blocking headphones if your workplace permits it. And you can disable all forms of noisy notifications on your computer. For instance, I knew that I could add WhatsApp to my laptop a long time ago, but I deliberately chose not to. I recently had to do it, unfortunately, when my phone fell, and I can tell you, it is a major source of distraction. However, if you do have a private office and you usually have an open door policy, you can simply put a do not disturb sign, at your door whenever you're trying to finish a task or project. Or take it a step further by locking yourself in, just for a short period of time so that you can focus. It may take some time for your colleagues to respect this new work style, but they will understand when they begin to see results. Number 2, avoid multitasking. They usually say women are good at multitasking. I laugh about that. And there's a common misconception that multitasking allows you to get more work done. Meanwhile, the human brain isn't able to handle several complex tasks at once. A study conducted on multitasking showed that participants were significantly slower when asked to switch tasks than when they simply are repeating the same task. By switching between tasks, you are actually losing time as your brain refocuses and processes new tasks. Let me give you an example. If you're preparing a presentation and whilst you're preparing your slides, you remember there is some numbers you need to send to the CEO or your boss, and so you quickly open up Excel and you're toggling between the slides and the Excel. This way of multitasking can actually make you less productive. Now, depending on your industry, multitasking might actually be your only option depending on your specific role. But in most cases, it means that particular task was designed to be completed that way. Let me give you an example. Like radio OAPs, who may have to switch between their controls on their console whilst also speaking to their audience at the same time. These are peculiar professions. But in most cases, wherever possible, try to complete one task before starting another. Dedicate specific chunks of time to certain tasks and consider timing yourself to hold yourself accountable. For example, you can say the next 60 minutes will complete an assignment, and then another 30 minutes is just to check emails, rather than juggling between 2 tasks at once. Number 3, take breaks. Some of you may have heard about a Japanese methodology called the Pomodoro technique. The Pomodoro technique is a time management method based on 25-minute stretches of focused work broken by 15 minutes break. So you work for 25 minutes, you have 5 minutes break. And then longer breaks are taken whenever you have longer working hours. By thinking of the work you do as a sprint rather than as a marathon. You can push yourself to your limits for short periods of time as long as you have a clear stopping point. And after a break, you can continue that sprint again. Remember, your work should be taken as a sprint, not a marathon. Take a walk, call your mom or your dad or a friend, make some tea or coffee. Whatever the case is, give yourself an electronic free break after a dedicated amount of time, and you'll return refreshed and ready to go for more. Conclusively, by doing these 3 things, which are minimize distraction, avoid multitasking, and by taking breaks, you will be enhancing your productivity at work a great deal. Thank you for joining me on this episode. Do subscribe, like, share, and let me know what you think in the comment section. See you next time.